It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're going to be doing a tier list of our top centers in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM. Now, there's not a ton of overall centers that we have to go through. I think we've got like, what, mid-30s? And it's crazy because if you compare that to shooting guards or the small forward point guard position, we have a lot more guards and wings than we do big men in MyTEAM. So, should be able to get through this tier list relatively quick. Gonna have some new guys like a Jarrett Allen type card, as well as, you know, the Nicholas Claxton cards that did come out not too long ago. Claxton, at the time I'm recording this, did actually come out, Monday, and today is Wednesday. So, yeah, we've seen a lot, no, Claxton came out yesterday, and today is Wednesday. So, we've seen a lot of these cards recently. We're going to start off with Diamond Dwight Howard, and as we do that, guys, make sure to smash that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Look, for D12, he's fine for an inside center. I can't hate Dwight, and I'll probably even put him in B tier. But my whole question is this. At this stage, most of these centers have the ability to shoot the ball. Let's just look at our next five. Can shoot, can shoot, can shoot, can shoot, can shoot. And so that's just developing a trend in which, yes, I like Dwight, but he can't shoot. And that puts just so much more pressure on somebody offensively. If you have a center that can't shoot, just doesn't open up the floor nearly as much for everyone else. I don't mind Dwight. Wish he could definitely shoot the ball though. Pau Gasol up next. Is it crazy that I'm putting Pau Gasol over Dwight? Pau Gasol not quite as good defensively, but he is 7 feet tall. He's still solid defensively. And yes, Pau Gasol gives you the ability to shoot the basketball, which I personally believe is underrated. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but if you have 5 guys that can stretch the floor, shoot the ball, it is super important. Naz Reid, a little undersized at the center position. Like, if you compare him to Dwight, Dwight's going to be able to compete against, like, the Shaqs, against the Kareems of the world, whereas Naz Reid might get a little bullied, but Naz Reid can shoot, so it's tough. I'm going to put Naz at C tier. I definitely think Naz is better at the power forward than center position, though, just for the sole fact of he is only 6'9". Wendell Carter Jr., I'm throwing him at C tier as well, can shoot the ball. Similar to Naz, though, he's only 6'10". If you're looking at cards that are going to compete, he's not going to compete as well as Dwight, just because we know Dwight defensively is absolutely elite. Meanwhile, Wendell Carter Jr. can knock down shots, so it's a tough predicament. Jonas Valanciunas, I'm putting him at B tier. Jova is a little bit longer than a Naz Reid. Wendell Carter Jr., he still has a decent 3-ball. I do think the Evo of Jova is a little bit of a letdown, at least for me. But with all of that being said, I still think the card is good enough to put a B tier. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he's great, but he is good enough to have at that B tier. Bobby Portis Jr. up next, our first A tier center in MyTEAM. Bobby Portis Jr. is a guy, even on my No Money Spent squad series, I wish I would have picked up day one, because I would much rather have a Bobby Portis Jr. all the way evoed compared to like a Jared Vanderbilt at this stage. And maybe that's not fair of me to say, but that's just ultimately the truth. Bobby Portis Jr.'s Evo is absolutely elite. Andre Drummond, he is not bad. To me, he's a worse version of a Dwight Howard. Inside centers that are going to be really solid defensively. Drummond, obviously a great rebounder. We know that. But when it comes down to it, he can't shoot the ball. So again, how high can I be on Andre Drummond? Not super high. He's not bad for a free card, though. It needs to be known. Drummond can definitely hoop. And these are the best centers in the entire game. Anthony Davis up next, S tier. Look, I think Anthony Davis is absolutely elite. Now, I did play in my Players Lounge MyTEAM tournament last night. Go sign up on Players Lounge if you do want to play in tournaments, stuff like that. Here's the deal with Anthony Davis, though. I do believe he leaves something to be desired on the court, because I'm not in love with his release. And I know his release is good, it's smooth. I'm just saying, for me personally, I got to get way better with Anthony Davis, because I know the card's good. I know he's one of the top bigs, if not, you know, a top 3 center in the entire game. It's just something I've got to get used to using him, and I've got to be better with Diamond Anthony Davis. Artis Gilmore up next, D tier. I know he's 7-something, 7'2". I get that. But if you look at Artis Gilmore's stats, man, he is a letdown in my team, and nobody is telling me any different. You can't make the case that Artis Gilmore is outstanding when his stats are what they are. I'm sorry. I cannot sit out here and hype up an Artis Gilmore card. I'll switch and show you guys. Look at these stats. 57 speed. I'm not hyping that up. I'm sorry. No can do. Bill Lambert, Beer, he's not even F tier. He is not. Bill Lambert's release isn't great. I'll be honest with you. I've used it, but is it unusable like it has been in past years? No. You can still use Bill Lambert's release and have some success with it. I use the card a lot in clutch time offline. He was one of the cards I did use when I was trying to make my matchups easier, stuff like that. Because look, he's a stretch big that at least in clutch time offline, I was able to knock down shots with. And on that same train of thought, right, he competed defensively for his Sapphire. So Bill Lambert, I have some respect for you always and forever. Bill Russell, I'm going to put him in C tier. I think Bill Russell is better than a guy like Andre Drummond. And I'd go as far as saying I think he's underrated. Is he as good as Dwight Howard? I think he's a little worse, but at that same type of tier. If you do need a free big man, yes, I know he can't shoot. That's why he's at C tier. But Bill Russell can hoop a little bit. Bull up next. I mean, D tier, I guess. I mean, can shoot the ball. He's 7'2". It's just tough. He's not, he's not great. He's not going to be a great guy to play on the court. Maybe for like clutch time offline and triple threat offline, Bobo is fine. He's just not great though in my team. Borderline F tier. Chet up next. I got to go A tier with Chet. I can't quite go to the Anthony Davis level, although Chet is absolutely fantastic. He's what, 7'1". I just wish his strength rating was a little bit higher because that's really his only, I would say, downside. And that's a downside only if you want it to be, because if you put him on a guy that he doesn't really need high strength, Chet is just fine. Gonna knock down shots, a great stretch big, protects the rim. Chet for his time was absolutely elite. One of my biggest regrets this year, and it's the same set, right? Because I didn't lock in the Diamond Giannis, is never getting Chet and never getting Paul George. Paul George especially, but Chet was really good for his time as well. Chris Bosh up next. Talk about underrated. You got to mention Chris Bosh. I do still think he's only A tier, but you want a stretch big in my team, Chris Bosh can still play. Whether you're talking about in Unlimited, whether you are talking about competitive my team, Chris Bosh can hold it down at the either power forward or center position. I wish our gauntlet still was as good as it once was. Because Chris Bosh, for his time, was so elite. David Robinson, if anybody has a question of where he's going, you guys just don't know ball. You don't know ball. You don't know ball. Because he is S tier by a wide margin. The best center we have right now in my team. And I don't even think it's particularly close. He green shots. He plays great defense. There's just really nothing not to like about D-Rob. He does everything at an extremely high level in my team. Easy addition into S tier. DeAndre Jordan up next. I mean, look, another one of these season rewards, but what am I supposed to talk about here? His speed is a 75, which you guys might be like, oh, well, Ty, compared to Artis Gilmore, it's fine. Okay, yes, but DeAndre Jordan's only 6'11". D tier, I guess, and I don't even want to put him at D tier. It's just something I feel like I need to do. But even if you don't want to put him quite to D tier, I'm not gonna vouch for him. I don't think it's right of me to even be like, oh yeah, he's definitely above D tier. No, I'm not saying that because I don't know if I believe that. Domantas Sabonis, I throw at B tier. Look, he's 7'1". I wish Domantas Sabonis' badges were better because honestly, his release isn't great, no, but you can green with it. He is a stretch big in my team. I just, again, wish badge-wise, Domantas Sabonis just did a little bit more for me. George Mikan at this stage, is he D tier at this stage? I think he probably is. But the thing about George Mikan is his release is fine, and he plays some defense. I'm just putting it at this stage. I think D tier is where he belongs. I'm going to move some people down to F tier with DeAndre Jordan and Bobo. I just don't think either one of them can compete. And I know some people might really like Bobo and want him, at a higher tier, but I just don't know if I could be the one to put him any higher. He just doesn't do enough for me. Giannis, if you want to play him at center, I play him at power forward, but if you want to play him at center, S tier. I mean, Giannis's player model is just ridiculous. And what I really noticed for Giannis, obviously everybody knows his defense is elite. What I really noticed for Giannis is, even offensively in the pick and roll game, he is so good at attacking the rim. And obviously this pink diamond Giannis, he's got a high three ball as well, or a high free throw as well. I don't think I put Diamond Giannis on here, but Diamond Giannis would be S tier at the center position as well. So, I mean, both Giannis's S tier. It is really simple and easy to understand. Hakeem Olajuwon, S tier as well. I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk. Well, Ty, Hakeem isn't as good as D-Rob. You know what, guys? You're right. But Hakeem is still absolutely fantastic in my team. And if you don't agree with that, man, I'm sorry, but Hakeem is. He's got Hall of Fame rebound chaser. He's going to be able to knock down shots and do a lot for you. Is he perfect? No, but nobody's perfect in my team. Jarrett Allen up next. I think Jarrett Allen is, what, D tier? I mean, and D tier is not the worst. I need that to be known. Actually, I'm going to put Jarrett Allen at C tier. Now, the reason I'm putting Jarrett Allen at C tier is I'm a believer that you can green with that 3-ball. I'm a believer. Now, are you going to green every shot with it? No, but it's a mid-60s 3-ball. You can green that with Jarrett Allen. You can. I'm a believer in it. C tier is where I'm going with the guard. Joel Embiid at this stage, I'm going to throw a B tier. I still think his release is super baited. It's why I'm not, the biggest Joel Embiid guy that you'll see, especially when it comes down to ranking him. I never picked up Joel Embiid, but he has a decent player, about a decent player, built 7 feet tall, and has the ability to shoot the ball. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar up next. Here's a tough thing. I think I got to put him at S tier. Now, we're going to have a lot of S tier centers in my team, and that's A-okay, because I think that's where Kareem belongs. 7'2", going to compete at an extremely high level. The one thing Kareem is lacking is the Hall of Fame rebound chaser, and that bugs me so much. Every other guy at S tier right now, I think, has it outside of Kareem. Why? It doesn't make sense. It is so disturbing to me. Kevin Garnett, S tier as well. We're gonna have to start moving some people around, but even if I move people around, I don't know what my S tier would look like. I mean, maybe I guess I'm gonna move people around. I guess we're gonna move people around. I guess it's just part of what we're gonna do here. I guess I don't know where to lean here. I guess I can move more people to C tier. I feel like even with Joe Val, all these cards, I feel like Embiid could be at B tier by himself though. I'm gonna move Bobby down, Chris Bosh down. I feel like no, I like Chris Bosh. Okay, I guess Chris Bosh, Chet right there, and then I guess the guys I'm gonna move down are Kareem, KG, AD, and Hakeem. I guess the only 2 S tiers are going to be D-Rob and Giannis. And if I was to rank Diamond Giannis, I'd put him at A tier too. I just feel like there is way too many guys at S tier, and I really didn't like it. So we're going to have more people at A tier, and I'm just going to live with it. LaMarcus Aldridge is going to stretch score as a 6'11 frame. I'm going to put it at C tier. Not that I love him, but I do respect him enough. Marcus Gasol can shoot the ball. He's somewhat lengthy, somewhat good defensively. D tier is where he belongs, though. Nicholas Claxton up next. As much as I want to put him at, he's B tier. I can't hate Nicholas Claxton. His release is slow. It is baited, but he still gets you paint stops. He is still going to compete well enough at that center position to put him at B tier. If you want a budget big in my team, I can't recommend Nicholas Claxton strongly enough. Do what you got to do. Pick up the card. You're definitely going to like what you get out of Nicholas Claxton. And I know people in the comments are going to be mad that he's B tier, but look, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Jokic, D tier. I don't care. Diamond Jokic stinks. Rudy Gobert, B tier. Gobert is great, but he's not to the level of Kareem. He's not to the level of KG or AD. He's great, and I love Rudy Gobert. I'll always be a stand for him in my team because he's got a good frame, but at the end of the day, he's an interior center, and I just can't put him to that level of Kareem or Hakeem. Shaq, same thing. I cannot put Shaq at this tier. I can't. And you guys might disagree with me. Chris Bosh is better than Shaq at this stage because at least he gives you the ability to stretch the court. Shaq, I like you, but B tier is as high as I can go. And again, I know a lot of people are going to dislike this, but it's got to be what it's got to be. Wilt, you are B tier too. I'm sorry. You can't stretch the court. And if you cannot stretch the court, at least with Kareem, he can hit the occasional one. If you're not going to stretch the court for me, you are not going to be ranked very high on this tier list. I think that's pretty self-explanatory at this point, but shooting the ball matters so much that even Rudy Gobert, who I absolutely love, can't go above B tier. Taco, D tier. I guess I'll move Bol to D tier too. At least their height is cheesy, right? Yeah, I'll go to D tier as well. They're just slow. They're methodical. They're not going to be great, but at least they're tall, right? I mean, they're not useless. Talk about useless, Tim Duncan. I'll throw him at D tier because he plays enough defense to keep him out of F tier, but man, Tim Duncan is useless on the court. Can't shoot. He's slow. I mean, if you locked in for Tim Duncan, all I can say is I'm sorry. Last but certainly, I mean, one of the least is Zach Collins. Zach Collins, what are you doing for me on the court? Not a bunch. That's going to wrap it up for my center tier list. We're going to only put 2 guys at S tier. Came down to this. Did I want a bunch of people at S tier, or did I only want a couple? I went with a couple, but if you guys want to put a bunch at S tier, move Kareem up, move Hakeem up, move KG up, move AD up, and I really am not going to argue against that. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.